Most men think women fall out of love because the spark disappears, or because someone else enters the picture. But the truth is far more subtle, and far more painful. A woman doesn't lose feelings overnight. She loses them in the quiet moments, in the small details, in the ways a man stops showing up without realizing he has already begun to disappear. A seasoned man understands this. A woman's heart shuts down not from a single betrayal, but from repeated emotional wounds no one else can see. It happens in the silence you dismiss, the tone you ignore, the effort you stop making, the instability you refuse to control, the purpose you abandon, and the disrespect you think she'll forget. If you want to know why women truly lose feelings, and how men unknowingly sabotage the love they once thought was unbreakable, then listen closely. Because these 5 things change everything. Welcome to the Stoic Love Wisdom channel. This is where we share lessons about love, real-life experiences and tips for building strong relationships. In today's video, I will share with you 5 things that make women lose their emotions quickly. These may be things you have never thought of. If you are looking for a deeper understanding of love and how to develop relationships, don't miss this video. Before watching the video, find a quiet space and put on your headphones to feel every word I am about to share. Relax and enjoy this journey with me. Are you ready to start this journey? Let's begin. Rule number 1. When a man becomes emotionally passive. If there is one thing I have learned after years of loving, losing, rebuilding, and watching relationships collapse from the inside out, it is this. A woman does not fall out of love because another man appears. She falls out of love because the man she chose stops showing up. Indifference, quiet, subtle, almost invisible at first, is the fastest way to make a woman's feelings evaporate. Most men do not even realize when they begin slipping. It never happens overnight. It happens in moments. Small ones. Moments a younger, inexperienced man would ignore. But a seasoned man knows they are the first cracks in the foundation. Let me explain it to you clearly, from the perspective of a man who has lived long enough to know what truly breaks the feminine heart. The slow death of connection. A woman does not wake up one morning and suddenly stop caring. Her heart shuts down the way a flame dies, not with a bang, but with neglect. It begins when your replies become shorter. When your tone becomes colder. When she shares something from her day and you answer without looking up. When you start prioritizing everything else, work, your phone, your comfort, over her emotional presence. And the moment a woman feels like she is carrying the relationship alone, a quiet switch flips inside her. Not because she is dramatic. Not because she is demanding. But because the feminine thrives on connection, and connection cannot survive indifference. Women don't need constant attention, they need consistent presence. A mature woman does not ask for your 24/7 availability. She does not need you glued to her every word. She does not want a man with no life, no purpose, no mission. What she wants, what she needs, is presence. Presence means you are with her when you're with her. It means your eyes, your tone, your attention gently communicate. You matter here. A woman can feel the difference between a man who tries and a man who is simply there out of habit. Habit kills love faster than hatred ever will. The feminine heart responds to effort, not excuses. A younger man, a boy in a man's body, believes women leave because they're ungrateful, moody, complicated. But a man who has lived through heartbreak knows. Women leave because they no longer feel emotionally chosen. Effort is the language of the feminine. Not grand gestures. Not gifts. Not empty promises. Effort. Asking how her day truly was. Listening without rushing. Holding her when she's overwhelmed. Showing interest in her inner world. Taking initiative instead of waiting for her to lead. A woman stops loving the moment she realizes your effort was never real, or worse, that it faded once you felt safe. Nothing turns a woman off faster than becoming an option in the life of a man she once considered her priority. Indifference feels like rejection, even when you don't say a word. A woman feels emotional distance long before you speak it. She feels it in your silence. In your distracted mind. In the way you stop noticing small things she used to do for you. In the way your affection becomes a routine rather than a choice. Women interpret behavior differently from men. To a man, being distant may feel like a mood. To a woman, it feels like a message. I don't value you anymore. And once a woman believes that, even if it is unintentional, her heart begins withdrawing for self-protection. A woman's detachment is never sudden. It is a quiet self-rescue. A Stoic truth, the man who stops leading, stops loving. In Stoic love, a man understands the importance of leading with emotional steadiness. Leadership is not control. It is not dominance. It is not doing everything. Leadership is presence, consistency, and direction. When a man stops being emotionally proactive, the relationship falls into the hands of the feminine, and that is not her natural role. She is not meant to carry the emotional weight alone. She is not meant to be the one always reaching out, reminding, initiating, stabilizing. A woman becomes masculine when a man becomes passive. And in that shift, attraction dies. Not because she wants to dominate. But because she has no choice. How a Stoic man prevents emotional drift. A grounded man avoids passivity not by being clingy, needy, or overly talkative, but by remaining intentional. He keeps communicating. He keeps noticing. He stays alert to changes, in her tone, her energy, her silence. He checks in, not to control, but to connect. He cares with action, not just words. He understands that love is not a guarantee, it is a responsibility. And the man who refuses to become indifferent earns a level of loyalty most men will never experience. Final thought, indifference is the real enemy of love. A woman loses feelings the way a flower dies, not because it wasn't beautiful, but because no one watered it. A man does not need to be perfect. He does not need to be charming. He does not need to be poetic. He needs to be present. Because the moment a woman feels alone in a relationship, she stops being in that relationship, long before she physically leaves. Rule number 2. When a man stops listening. If you ask any man what women want, he will list a dozen things: security, affection, attention, romance. But rarely will he mention the one thing that matters most in holding a woman's heart. Understanding. Not solving. Not correcting. Not debating. Not fixing. Understanding. It took me years, and a few heartbreaks, to realize that nothing makes a woman lose feelings faster than feeling unheard. Not unloved, unheard. A woman's emotional world is a landscape most men pass through without paying attention. But a mature man, a man shaped by life, knows that the moment he stops listening, he quietly teaches her to stop loving. The feminine speaks to connect, not to win. Most men talk to exchange information. Most women talk to exchange connection. Men listen for facts. Women listen for meaning. When a woman opens up about her day, her frustration, her insecurities, or her stress, she is not asking for a solution. She is offering a part of her inner world. She is saying, "Walk into my heart with me." But the inexperienced, reactive man hears her words as problems he must fix, or worse, as attacks he must defend. So he interrupts. He debates. He dismisses her feelings as overthinking. He tells her to calm down. He gives solutions she never asked for. And slowly, without realizing it, he becomes emotionally deaf. To a woman, that deafness feels like abandonment. Dismissiveness is emotional rejection. A woman feels rejected long before a man realizes he is even rejecting her. When she speaks and he minimizes her feelings, changes the subject, mocks her sensitivity, responds with logic instead of compassion, or withdraws emotionally, her heart doesn't get angry, it gets tired. And tired is far more dangerous than angry. A woman gets angry when she still cares. She gets silent when she's slipping away. The feminine heart needs safety, not solutions. Here is something younger men never understand. A woman is not asking you to solve her emotions. She's asking you to hold them. The feminine wants a man who can remain grounded in the storm of her feelings, not someone who panics, shuts down, or tries to argue his way out of discomfort. A woman withdraws when she feels like her emotions are a burden. She retreats when she senses she must always defend why she feels what she feels. She shuts down around a man who treats her vulnerabilities as inconveniences. But she blossoms around a man who says, "I hear you. That makes sense. Tell me more. I'm here, take your time." These are not complex phrases. But they are powerful because they tell her, "Your emotions are safe with me." And that is the foundation of feminine trust. Listening is not passive, it is masculine strength. Many men think listening is weakness. They think silence means submission. They believe empathy makes them appear soft. They could not be more wrong. Listening, true listening, is an act of masculine discipline. It requires patience. It requires emotional control. It requires putting ego aside. It requires staying present when your instincts tell you to defend yourself. Listening is not passive. It is containment. A woman trusts a man who can contain emotions, hers and his own. The man who cannot listen is not strong, he is fragile. He reacts because he is overwhelmed. He interrupts because he lacks calm. He argues because he lacks maturity. A stoic man listens with stillness. He is not threatened by feelings. He does not flinch at vulnerability. He does not run from discomfort. His presence alone becomes an anchor. When a woman stops talking, she has already begun leaving. The moment a woman stops talking, stops sharing, stops expressing, a quiet shift has already happened inside her. She no longer sees the point. She no longer feels understood. She no longer believes her emotions deserve space. A woman disconnects emotionally before she disconnects physically. Men often realize she's gone too late, because they never noticed her silence was a message. If a woman is still expressing emotions, even anger, she is still fighting for the connection. Silence means the connection is dying. A stoic man's way of listening. A grounded man, a disciplined man, listens differently. He does not interrupt. He does not rush. He does not defend. He does not take her emotions personally. He listens to understand, not to react. He allows her to speak fully. He nods. He breathes slowly. He asks questions calmly. He gives her space to open without fear. He listens as a leader, not as a victim. And because of that, she feels safe enough to stay soft. Final thought. A woman's heart closes when her voice is not heard ***. A woman doesn't leave a relationship because she stopped loving the man. She leaves because she stopped recognizing herself beside him. When her voice no longer matters. Her heart no longer invests. If there is one thing every man must understand, it is this. Love is not lost through arguments. Love is lost through silence, dismissal, and emotional deafness. And nothing makes a woman lose feelings faster than a man who refuses to hear her. Love, like a mirror that reflects ourselves. When you learn to love, you are also learning to look back at yourself. What are your strengths? What are the wounds that need to be healed? And understanding yourself will help you understand the other person more deeply. That is also the reason I share on this channel, to help you see love as a journey to nurture your soul. If you find these things meaningful, click like to spread that value. And if this is your first time coming to the channel, don't forget to click subscribe with the notification bell, so we can always accompany each other in the next lessons. Leave a comment below, share your true feelings after listening to this part. Who knows, your little story may touch the heart of someone in need. Now, let's continue on the next part of this journey. Rule number 3. Emotional instability. There is something every man eventually learns, usually the hard way. A woman can forgive your mistakes, but she will not forgive your instability. Mistakes are human. Instability is unsafe. And for the feminine heart, safety is everything. Women lose feelings at a shocking speed when a man becomes unpredictable, when his emotions move like a storm instead of a steady river. When every small conflict turns into an explosion, every disagreement becomes an attack, every silence becomes punishment. A woman does not leave because you are imperfect. She leaves because she cannot trust the emotional climate around you. Let me break it down the way years of experience have taught me. The feminine cannot blossom in chaos. The feminine thrives in warmth, stability, and emotional clarity. When a man is easily angered, easily triggered, easily jealous, or easily shaken, she cannot relax around him. You may love her deeply. You may want the best for her. You may believe you are trying. But if she never knows which version of you she will face today, whether a small conversation will turn into a fight, whether your mood will shift without warning, whether your silence is calm or punishment, her heart slowly shuts down. Not out of spite, out of self-protection. A woman cannot stay soft around instability. She becomes hard, cold, distant, eventually numb. Not because she wants to be, but because she has to be. Anger is not the problem, lack of control is. Every man feels anger. Every man feels frustration. Every man feels fear, insecurity, jealousy, irritation. These emotions do not make you weak. They make you human. But when these emotions control you, instead of you controlling them, that is when you become unsafe to love. A man who cannot regulate himself raises his voice, shuts down, lashes out, becomes sarcastic, acts impulsively, withdraws affection, or storms out of arguments. To him, these are reactions. To her, these are red flags. Not red flags of evil, but red flags of instability. Women fall out of love not because you feel deeply, but because you express your feelings like a boy, not a man. A woman wants to lean on you, not fear you. A feminine woman wants a man she can lean into, not a man she must tiptoe around. When your emotional state is unpredictable, she begins managing you more than she manages herself. She watches her words carefully. She hides her feelings to avoid triggering yours. She becomes silent around your anger. She becomes anxious around your reactions. She becomes someone she is not, just to keep the peace. And when a woman must become less of herself to stay with you, her love begins dying quietly. A man who cannot control his emotions forces the woman to control hers. That is the beginning of emotional disconnect. Jealousy, mood swings, overthinking, the silent killers. Let's talk about the behaviors most men underestimate. Jealousy. A little is human. Too much becomes suffocating. Women lose feelings quickly when a man's insecurity becomes their responsibility. Overthinking. When a man creates problems that do not exist, he drains her emotional energy. Mood swings. One day warm, one day cold, one day distant, one day intense, that unpredictability pushes her into survival mode. Emotional overreaction. When small issues become big explosions, respect begins to erode. A woman can fall in love with your potential, but she cannot stay in love with your instability. The Stoic principle, calm is not suppression, it is mastery. Stoicism does not mean silence. It does not mean hiding your emotions. It does not mean pretending to feel nothing. Stoicism means mastery. It means your anger does not make decisions for you. Your fear does not control your tone. Your insecurity does not dictate your behavior. Your stress does not turn you into someone she fears. Your emotions rise but do not spill everywhere. A Stoic man is not emotionless. He is disciplined. He is the calm in the middle of chaos, not the creator of it. His presence lowers her anxiety. His tone steadies her heart. His silence is peaceful, not punishment. Women do not fall out of love with calm men. They fall deeper. The man who controls himself controls the relationship. Control does not mean dominance. It means direction. A man who remains composed during conflict becomes a safe place for a woman. He listens without reacting. He responds without escalating. He pauses before speaking. He thinks before acting. He breathes before exploding. His emotional discipline becomes her emotional comfort. And comfort, in a woman's heart, is the soil where love survives. A man can win a woman with charm, but he only keeps her with stability. Final thought. A woman leaves the man who cannot calm himself ***. In the end, it is simple. A woman can forgive your flaws. She can accept your imperfections. She can work through your mistakes. But she cannot root her heart in a man whose emotions are unpredictable. Instability makes her feel unsafe. And when a woman stops feeling safe, she stops feeling everything. Rule number 4. When a man has no purpose. There is a silent truth most men learn far too late in life. A woman does not fall out of love because you are not successful. She falls out of love because you stop growing. A man without direction slowly becomes a man without gravity, nothing to pull her toward him, nothing to anchor her, nothing to respect. Women don't need a rich man. They don't need a powerful man. They don't need a perfect man. But they do need a man who is moving. A man with momentum. A man with a mission. When you lose your sense of purpose, you lose something deeper. Your masculine polarity, and with it, her emotional attraction. Let me explain this to you the way only experience can. Women don't fall in love with comfort, they fall in love with direction. A woman may enjoy comfort, but she does not fall in love with it. Comfort is passive. Purpose is active. A man without purpose becomes a man who sleeps too much, complains often, repeats the same routine, lacks discipline, has no vision for the future, drifts through life instead of leading it. At first, a woman may try to motivate him. She may encourage him. She may believe in his potential. But potential unacted becomes a burden. And slowly, very slowly, her admiration begins to fade. She doesn't stop caring, she stops trusting. Not trusting you as a partner, but trusting you as a leader of your own life. Attraction is not about where you are, it's about where you're going. The feminine heart responds instinctively to masculinity in motion. A man who is striving, improving, sharpening himself, even if he is not yet successful, radiates masculine energy. His ambition becomes a form of attractiveness. His discipline becomes a silent signal. His vision becomes something she can believe in. But when a man stands still, mentally or emotionally, something inside her begins to disconnect. She may not say it aloud, but she feels it. If he cannot lead himself, how can he lead us? That question kills attraction faster than arguments, faster than distance, faster than time. Stagnation turns a man from a partner into a project. Here's a painful truth. A woman never wants to feel like your mother. When you lack drive, direction, or effort, she shifts into responsibility mode. Reminding you, encouraging you, motivating you, pushing you, carrying your weight. This is not love. This is exhaustion disguised as loyalty. And a woman does not stay in love with a man she must drag. She wants to support a man who is climbing, not carry a man who is sinking. A woman's feminine energy thrives beside masculine movement, not masculine stagnation. The masculine must be rooted in purpose, or it collapses. A man without purpose loses himself long before he loses a woman. He becomes restless, resentful, irritable, insecure, unfocused, emotionally fragile. And when a man loses himself, the woman loses faith in what the relationship could become. A man's purpose is not a luxury, it is his backbone. It is where his confidence comes from. Where his clarity comes from. Where his stability comes from. Purpose is not about hustle culture. It is not about ambition for the sake of ego. Purpose is identity. Without it, a man is a shell, physically present but emotionally absent. A Stoic man understands this: love cannot replace purpose. You cannot use a woman as your life's direction. You cannot use a relationship as your mission. You cannot use love as an escape from your own potential. A Stoic man knows. A woman can walk beside you, but she can never walk for you. Your goals, your discipline, your work, your self-respect, these are masculine responsibilities. Women fall out of love not because they want more from you, but because they see you wanting less from yourself. A woman admires a man who wakes up with intention. She loses interest in a man who wakes up with excuses. A man's progress makes a woman feel secure. When a woman sees you striving, even slowly, she feels safe. Because progress signals stability. Stability signals reliability. Reliability signals long-term potential. You do not need to be extraordinary. You do not need to have everything figured out. You do not need to move fast. You just need to move. A woman can wait for a man with vision. She cannot wait for a man who is waiting for life to happen to him. Final thought. A woman stops loving the moment she must pull you forward ***. A woman can love you deeply. She can support you endlessly. She can believe in you wholeheartedly. But she cannot feel attracted to a man who has stopped believing in himself. A woman loses feelings when she realizes she is pushing you more than you are pushing yourself. Growth is masculine. Stagnation is repulsive. Purpose is irresistible. If you want to keep a woman's heart, you must keep your direction. Because the moment a man stops moving, a woman's love stops, too. There are things in love, only when we take a step back, sit down quietly, can we truly understand. I share these stories not to teach you how to love, but so that you can find the answers for yourself. If what you just heard touches your heart, please click like as a way to spread this positive energy to more people. And remember to click subscribe, because there are many profound perspectives on love waiting for you in the next videos. Now, let's continue the remaining journey together, because the most precious things are sometimes at the end. Rule number 5. Disrespect, even the smallest kind. If there is one thing that kills a woman's feelings faster than distance, faster than silence, faster than mistakes, it is disrespect, even in its smallest, most subtle forms. A woman's heart does not close because she is fragile. It closes because she is sensitive to emotional truth. And disrespect, a sharp tone, a careless comment, a dismissive expression, a sarcastic joke, is emotional truth she cannot ignore. Most men underestimate the impact of disrespect because they judge relationships the way they judge themselves, through toughness. But a woman's love is not made of toughness. It is made of softness, vulnerability, openness. And she cannot stay soft around a man who does not protect that softness. Let me explain it to you as a man who has lived, failed, and learned. Disrespect is not always loud, sometimes it's whispers. When men think of disrespect, they imagine shouting, insults, arguments, or aggressive behavior. But to a woman, disrespect often begins quietly. An eye roll. A mocking tone. A careless, whatever. A passive-aggressive comment. A sarcastic reply. A public joke at her expense. A comparison to someone else. A comment that belittles her efforts. These seem small to a man. To a woman, they are cracks in the emotional foundation. A single crack does not destroy a house. Enough cracks do. A woman's heart stops loving the same way a rope breaks, one fiber at a time. The feminine needs honor, not control. The feminine does not crave dominance. It craves honor. Honor means you value her, publicly and privately. Honor means you protect her dignity, even during conflict. Honor means you never use her vulnerability as a weapon. A woman stops loving a man the moment she realizes, I am not safe here emotionally. Not safe from physical harm. Safe from humiliation. Safe from being ignored. Safe from being emotionally minimized. A man can raise his voice and she may forgive him. But if he makes her feel small, that's when feelings die. Sarcasm, nagging, and mockery, the quiet killers of intimacy. Women interpret communication differently than men. What men see as jokes, women feel as emotional truth. What men see as just being honest, women feel as harshness. What men see as expressing frustration, women feel as rejection. A woman's intuition does not listen to your words, it listens to your tone, your energy, your intention. Sarcasm is disrespect disguised as humor. Nagging is disrespect disguised as concern. Mockery is disrespect disguised as honesty. And each one takes something from her: trust, warmth, admiration, desire. The man who slowly strips away a woman's dignity eventually strips away her love as well. Public disrespect is the deepest wound. A woman can forgive private arguments. She can forgive misunderstandings. She can forgive emotional moments that get out of hand. But public disrespect, even subtle, leaves a scar. A man who criticizes her in front of others, corrects her harshly, mocks her opinions socially, or exposes her insecurities, loses her heart instantly. Because public disrespect tells her the truth. He does not protect me, he exposes me. And a woman cannot love a man she cannot trust to guard her reputation. Disrespect destroys feminine softness. When a woman feels disrespected repeatedly, she becomes hardened. She stops expressing. She stops giving. She stops nurturing. She stops trying. She stops trusting. Her softness becomes armor. Her love becomes distance. She becomes protective instead of loving. Men often complain. She's changed. She's cold now. But they forget. Coldness is not her nature, it is her defense. She became cold because she stopped feeling safe enough to be warm. A Stoic man knows respect is his greatest strength. Respect is not weakness. Respect is not submission. Respect is not fear of conflict. Respect is masculine maturity. It means Speaking with calm even when angry. Being firm without humiliating her. Correcting without belittling. Disagreeing without attacking. Leading without dominating. Expressing frustration without cruelty. A Stoic man never uses disrespect as a shortcut to power. He knows true power is control over himself, not control over her. His tone is steady. His words are intentional. His presence is safe. His leadership is gentle but firm. And because of this, a woman feels protected, not diminished. Respect is the foundation on which attraction stands. Final thought. A woman leaves when respect leaves first. A woman can endure struggle. She can endure obstacles. She can endure imperfections. She can endure conflict. But she cannot endure disrespect. Because disrespect kills admiration. Admiration kills attraction. And without attraction, love has no oxygen. A woman stops loving the moment she feels, I have to protect myself from the man I love. Once that happens, the relationship is no longer a home. It becomes a battlefield. And no woman stays in a battlefield forever. Conclusion. In the end, the truth is simple, though many men learn it only after losing the woman they once believed would stay forever. Women don't fall out of love suddenly. They fall out of love gradually, through moments of neglect, instability, stagnation, dismissal, and disrespect. A woman's heart is resilient, but it is also deeply intuitive. She does not close herself off because she is dramatic or overly emotional. She closes because she no longer feels emotionally protected. Because the man she trusted stopped being the anchor she needed him to be. When a man becomes indifferent, she feels alone. When he stops listening, she feels invisible. When he is unstable, she feels unsafe. When he has no purpose, she feels uncertain. And when he disrespects her, even subtly, she feels unloved. These are not small things to her. They are signals. Signals that her heart is no longer valued in the place it once called home. A Stoic man understands that love is not maintained by passion alone, but by presence. By calm. By direction. By respect. He knows that his role is not to be perfect, but to be consistent. In effort, in attention, in emotional strength, in personal growth, in the way he speaks and carries himself. A woman stays when she feels seen, heard, safe, secure, and valued. She leaves when she is forced to harden herself just to survive beside the man she once trusted with her softness. So the lesson is this. A man who masters himself never loses a woman who values him. But a man who neglects himself eventually loses everything that depends on him. Love doesn't die by accident. It dies by the things we ignore. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. I hope you have found useful lessons about love and relationships. If you find this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. I really appreciate your support and will continue to bring valuable content in the next videos. Please continue to accompany me on my journey to learn about love and relationships. See you again and wish you happiness.